watery eyes, she has a cough, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, so you're hurt. So we're not gonna see her till she has negative COVID test. So
Thank you for noticing.
do that.
I was looking at on my phone and it was tiny when I was reading it. And I was just looking and I didn't like.
Oh, which one was it? Yeah, I did. I missed
Yeah.
that.
Fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, the RDC, for our December 2nd meeting. If we could all stand for our Pledge of Allegiance and a short invocation by Brian Cole.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day that you gave us today. And we also thank you for allowing us to be here together in a free country where we can represent the people of this town. We ask you that you would guide us and direct us, that we might make decisions that will be beneficial for the town and the people in it. Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We need to approve our executive session minutes from October 4th, our regular session from November 4th, and our executive from November 4th. So we'll take them in order. I entertain a motion to approve our executive session minutes from October 4th.
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes from Thursday, November the 4th, 2021.
October. We need to
It says November on here.
We
didn't approve the October 4th last meeting
Oh,
executive session.
okay, October 4th.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now, moving on to our executive session from Thursday, November 4th minutes. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes from November 4th.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now, for our regular session minutes, it does say Monday. If I could entertain a motion to approve the minutes with the edit to Thursday, November 4th.
I'll make a motion that the minutes for Thursday, November the 4th, 2021 be approved as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, financial report. Chelsea.
You were forwarded the financial report from the clerk treasurer's office. I thought going forward, maybe it would be beneficial if I at least gave a current balance for each of our fund accounts. So the redevelopment capital fund, which is what I call 406, is $6,246,552.58. The TIF debt service reserve is $470,474.38. As a note of reference, that will be our final payment for the bond that we just refunded earlier this year. So that's not really usable money. That will be our final bond payment. And then account 712 is the TIF rental of property. That was really our Southbridge account, which is still just a holding account at this point, of $678,529.35 for a grand total of the three accounts of $7,395,556.31. I'm happy to answer questions anyone may have.
Any questions for Chelsea?
Well, the numbers you read off aren't the same ones I've got in front of me. You said 7,900,000. I've got 7,300,000.
$7,395,556.31. I'm reading directly from, yep.
I'm
So
not
always-
looking at the same form you
Yep.
are.
I'm
So
not
always
either.
go off of the report that comes from the clerk treasurer's office. Based on when I reconcile
Oh, here it is.
books which is normally a month removed. If you're looking at the QuickBooks version, they're not gonna ever be apples to apples. So yeah, that's the version, comes directly from the clerk treasurer's office.
Got
Yep.
it.
I'm glad you asked, though. Good point of clarity.
Any other questions for Chelsea? I will entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
A motion that we accept the financial report as presented this evening.
Second?
A motion and a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Old business, Mooresville Business Center update, Shell Building.
If you look at the end of my monthly report, I have a report from Mike Runnebaum dated November 29th. There's only a few items left on the shell building. One is for the glass contractor to install a couple of missing windows and the door glass. The other is the paving. This time of year is always hard, and he goes into this, that it's hard to get them on site to do paving because the asphalt plants are beginning to close for the winter, and so paving contractors are trying to take care of everyone at one time. So he is trying to get that done yet before they officially close. We are still working actively some projects, and hopefully we have more news soon.
Did he provide a date when he might have the paving done?
No,
He did not?
no. It's very hard this time of year before they close. Everybody's trying to.
When do they close? I mean,
Honestly, I was surprised that they were even still open, because
Well,
normally
I
they're
would be
not still
too.
open this time of year, but it was 63 degrees today, so what do I know? I think a lot of it's weather dependent, so
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Any questions for Chelsea on the Shell Building? Moving on, High Street, State Road 42, signal options, Monroe and High.
So I presented to you last month, the dollar amount to upgrade the signal poles that are going to be at Monroe and High Street, which would be, at a cost of approximately $60,000. The question that I received was the placement of the poles. There will be two poles placed, one on the northwest corner of Monroe and High, and one on the southeast corner. The placement, is everybody tracking so far? I see Brian's brain working. It takes me a minute when I say things like that. So northwest corner, southeast corner. The placement of the poles is actually behind the sidewalk. So it is as far away, still in the right of way as humanly possible. So,
So in front of the law office, northwest,
yes,
and southeast on the other, okay,
yes,
catty corner. Okay.
as far away from the road as possible. Does that mean something will never happen there? I am not going to guarantee that, but they are making every provision to make that as possible as can be.
Well, they are on the opposite sides of where you're gonna see semis doing right turns for the most part.
Well, somebody could come north on Monroe and turn
Turn right.
right,
they
Out.
would turn, yeah.
but it's still not,
And it's not a,
angle is not
it's not a
really.
90-degree
Yeah,
angle,
correct.
so,
Correct.
yeah,
So
okay.
I would ask for a vote tonight on that $60,000 to upgrade to the poles to match Indiana. Otherwise, it will just be the standard NDOT poles.
I would make a motion that we upgrade.
I have a motion on the floor to upgrade the signals. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Future project list. We currently have 2 members out, so Brian, you get to be first.
It's a little, I don't know that we want to approve anything tonight with 2 members gone on something like
I-
this, but I'm
I was waiting.
happy to have more discussion.
Well, last meeting, we kind of, said, here's our homework, we've done everything that I think that we could have done, eliciting public input, and we got some of the public speaking here, we had some of it online, some of it, I'm sure everybody received feedback in person. So, what Commissioner Culp, Secretary Culp, run down kind of your thoughts on.
So, in the last month, Chelsea and I actually met with several other groups. We met with someone from Franklin, someone from Plainfield. I had a meeting with someone from Greencastle. And we had discussions about those RDCs and the processes that they went through as they kind of decided on projects. And one of the things they talked a lot about was that they were more of the cart and not the horse. They were there to help with the projects that got put forth by the town, as opposed to being the ones who were proposing the projects and doing them. That being said, I think there are certainly things that we need to take a look on here that we should do, especially specifically infrastructure things. I have a hard time coming up with a project, especially as we talk about the pocket park is one that came up several times in our conversation. Making sure that the organization that is going to have to take care of it is the one pushing it and on board with doing it.
Brian, you're really making this hard
Yes.
for me not to say what I really want to say sometimes.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Dustin.
There's been a couple times as of late where it's uncharacteristic of me to give what my brain is actually saying. So I will be quiet, and I will agree wholeheartedly on several things. I think if we did something park to park, and the park board is not willing to step up, I was very disappointed in seeing in our public input, one of the park board members pretty much walk up and say he wanted to mark some of the things off the list. So
I do think that it was in our plan to update Main Street.
yes.
And I really feel like that's probably one of the next things we need to do is move forward with updating Main Street, because that was already in the plan. It's something that we had talked about doing from the previous commission. And it is important to have a cohesive look, north and south and east to west.
Virginia, thoughts?
Well, I guess I took a different approach to this. I went through the survey, and I shared this with commissioners, and I have extra copies if anybody wants to see them. And I come up with a ranking based on the feedback from what answers we did receive. And number one was the need to do something about the eyesores in town. That was a 90% response. That was number one. And number two was to create more jobs to town. Number three was we needed more amenities. And Chelsea, you want to elaborate a little bit on that, because that answer didn't really come back the way we thought, what you had in mind with the question.
Yeah, so a couple things actually, if I may. I think, the survey was intended to really get input from the community. So a couple things, data is data, and we could all interpret it maybe not the same way. So one thing that I did want to point out, I know you have the eyesores in town was rated the highest. That was a yes/no question, and it did get a 90.87% rating that people said, yes, do something about the eyesores in town. Again, yes/no question. We did ratings for, please rate the need for increased, the need for additional housing, which got 80%. Please rate the need for increased quality of place, which got 94%. So kind of a little higher than the eyesores, which again, we're not really comparing apples to apples because it was a yes, no, and a rating. So a little different. And I think with the amenities, to be really honest, when I put this together, I thought people would say, I don't want housing. I'll just be honest, that's what I thought people would say. But I thought people would say, but I do want amenities.
Yeah.
Which is why I put the question in there, because amenities follow housing. People don't, I remember from my economic development days, I remember going to a Boone County EDC annual meeting, and they made us all chant, "We want Meyer," because they really wanted a Meyer in Whitestown. But it was all about the number of rooftops. Meyer wouldn't even consider it until there was enough rooftops. So that was really I'll be honest, that was why the amenities question got in there, and it didn't score as highly as I expected it to, but housing actually scored higher than I anticipated.
It did.
So people said I want housing, so.
Yeah, and I wasn't surprised with the housing. Because I've had a lot of people come to me and say that housing is the main thing that they're looking at, is more housing for the town. But if we go by the survey and the response from the people, which is what we asked for, and we go by this, and the Main Street, Indiana Street, right down that building, which I understand there's already been a permit for demolition on that building.
Not my department on that one.
Oh.
I try to stick to the departments that I am assigned, and I know some council members kind of go all over, but
Well, I guess it was a matter of public record, so I'm not saying anything out of school. So I don't think if that's the main one, but I do think we do need to make some improvements downtown, as said, the buildings themselves, the way the buildings look downtown. I think that could stand some improvement. So this is what I came up with, which I'm just going by what the people want, which I think that's what we asked for. That's all I have.
okay. Dr. Moore, I purposely, went, and now I'm gonna go to you for your input. Thoughts?
Well, I think that Virginia made a good point to look at what's on there, and maybe you'd find that most people agree with that survey, to our surprise. And I think that that's something that you guys are gonna have to look at. I think you're gonna have to work with the town and see where you can play a part in what happens there. But at the same time, as a redevelopment commission, you're not commercial developers, you're not real estate agents, you're not all the things that need to be looked at and talked about as far as how can we improve. So you have a role to play, and I'm confident that you'll play it well. Won't always agree with each other even, but you keep it above board and do the things that you think are the most helpful to the town of Mooresville, which does include the school system. And I don't think you can go wrong. I'm confident in this group to keep all their efforts above board and in the best interest of Mooresville.
I had a list up until about yesterday. when I was completely blindsided, as our emails were going absolutely haywire, and I can still not access emails, but I get plenty of spam asking for $500 Amazon gift cards on a government email. I was surprised to hear that while several people have been kind of wanting to do a plan, it sounds like a council member has approached HWC to do a comp plan. HWC has done a lot of local stuff. I'll have to ask President Meredith from the county if they hired, but I know Shannon Cole, the former mayor, that's probably a local tie there. But HWC is giving a presentation on a full comp plan for Mooresville. I struggle when we are all appointed, even myself. I'm a council appointment. I don't even get the luxury of being a presidential appointment. I don't even get the luxury of really voting for any member, come think about it. I've had somebody tell me, and this is where my conflict is, that council members are elected and should act individuals, not team players, or as a team. And I don't know if this extends to the board. I feel like the word Mooresville in front of our board means that we should all be on the same page and moving as a cohesive group, not running around as individuals in 10 different directions. So with that comp plan email, I basically took my list and threw it in the trash and said, if the council is going to entertain a comp plan and we serve at the behest of the council, they can pretty much dictate what we do. We can move separately and we can do our own redevelopment, but I would hope that we could, at least I, from my standpoint, can give input as what we should do and what the public is wanting and what makes sense for Mooresville.
Exactly.
So, to kind of unfortunately tie it in a neat bow, for my opinion, we have two members that aren't present. We have a town council that is hearing a comp plan presentation. I don't know if there's a proposal there. Again, I dare not access my email. If you two want to move forward with something, by all means, but I'm going to sit this one out until I hear from the council. So
I would make a motion that we table our
unfortunately,
list, that we table our list until we have more direction from the town council.
Unfortunately, I feel like that may be the best option. I am going to take Virginia's list. So allegedly, at least one or two council members are watching right now, so they can hear our frustration. I say frustration, at least from my standpoint, that we are holding off on something I feel maybe we should have moved forward on.
Well, my 2 cents is I would, if we're going to table this, it's not because they're going to do a comprehensive plan. I really don't care. I mean, that's the town council. We're appointed by them, but they appoint us for a purpose. If they don't have any faith in us that we're all adults and we all have experience and background, we make our own decisions, then, they can vote us down. But the only